we? Okay, what were we talking about there now? We were talking...
You're talking about the importance of state control, about the body language being the way to force your state, and also your ability to withstand pressure is very important. And you have to know that you're cool as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's your frame control, right?
Yeah.
Your frame control. That's how you win a frame battle. Is just be more sure of your state than the other person, right? You be more sure of your frame. If I'm more in my reality than you are in yours, and the first person to question their reality is the person who loses, right?
Okay.
So the minute you're just like, boom, no, man, I'm cool as fuck. All my behaviors are in line with that. All my sub communications, most importantly, are in line with that. The other person will begin to question it more in their mind. In a minute, if they've got a slight question and you've got full knowing, you're gonna blow them out every single time, right? And sometimes they might provide information though that causes you to step off your balance a little. It does happen.
Is there anything you can do to force them to question their reality?
Well, yeah, just hold to yours tighter than they have theirs. That's it. Just hold to yours tighter. Hold to yours harder because they're gonna be imposing their frame. But also you can knock down theirs a little as well, right? Little attacks or whatever. You can take their state down a little bit as well, right? It's not it's easier to, like, you know what I mean? You just question, cause them to question. You just, whatever, the things that are coming out of your mouth will, but I don't go around attacking anybody ever. I never try to take anybody else down.
Okay.
Unless it's like, I'll use body language and like kind of like ignore the person. Well, I guess maybe sometimes I might, I won't. What I'll do is I'll start dismissing them. All right.
Okay. I'll
start dismissing them. I'll start like turning my back towards them. I'll start like just being bored and just being like you're not, like, you know what I mean? I'll just deliberately just, in my mind, I'm in a state of, you don't mean shit. Like you're a waste of my time type of thing. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, buddy, I'm over it. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm on to the next thing. The same thing I do if a girl is not giving me what I want from her. I'll just turn around and begin doing the next thing. You know what I mean? I just start, like, if I'm holding my sign, like this this girl right now that I kind of talk to, she's a pain in the ass, actually. Typical female, actually, but she kind of likes me. I think she likes me. Pretty sure she does. But she, even just the other day, she starts, kind of like talking to another guy or whatever, and kind of like pretending to flirt with this other guy. And I just walked the fuck away, man. I just walked away, started doing my thing on the corner. And all of a sudden, she dropped that real quick, and she comes back over to me. You know what I mean? So when you like deliberately ignore somebody or deliberately show them that, hey, you don't mean shit, they start wondering why, right? Especially if it's a girl who's used to getting a lot of male attention, and you're just like, fuck off, I'm out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Then they start going, what's the matter with him? Why doesn't he like me? Then they start questioning. All right?
Okay.
Because you're demonstrating that you're not doing what the other guys do. You're not kissing her ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I can't do very loud because it's pretty late here, so I've got to whisper. Pardon? I've got to whisper because it's pretty late here, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're getting at like 11:30 at night now.
Yeah. Mm.
I got you. It's okay to whisper. Like I can hear you, so we're good. As long as you can hear me. All right. So you do understand. I guess I kind of got a short. It's kind of a short lesson today, anyway, right? 'Cause, I mean, the laughter yoga is, like I said, you're practicing your state control. The more you're laughing, the more you're enjoying, the more you're in that positive headspace, the
Yeah.
more it'll become your normal, right? Because
Yeah.
whatever, like I said, it all comes down to what the brain's doing, right? It's all electricity uh, being sent from neurotransmitter to neurotransmitter in an electrical binary signature, right?
Hmm.
That's all that happens in the brain. It is electricity gets transmitted through pathways in the gray matter from place to place, and it sends electrical binary signatures to each other, to each, and it does it in rapid succession. That's all that's ever happening in your brain. The more often, but everything that happens in the body and in the mind, the whole thing that happens, everything that happens in your reality is happening in the brain simultaneously, right? So every time a car drives by, you know what I mean, and you see it, that's entering into the mind and you're perceiving it. So it's, you know what I mean? Electricity's firing off in the brain.
Hmm.
Everything, everything. And the more often you do something, the more comfortable it becomes and the easier it is. The more natural it becomes and the more you it becomes, right? So if you're, yeah, it's just weird. Because I mean, I'll tell you, in like my 20s, early 20s, I wouldn't eat vegetables. I was unhealthy. I was, I was on like a meat diet almost, meat and
Yeah.
bread diet. And, yeah, I was on a meat and bread potatoes diet. And,
Yeah. Not good.
very little vegetation in my, no nutrition whatsoever. And, one day I was at somebody's house and they'd offered me a slice of pizza. And I was like, oh yeah, we got pizza. You want a slice? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm grabbing a slice of pizza, and there was olives on it. And I'm sitting there. Everybody else is eating their pizza and enjoying their pizza, and I'm sitting here picking olives off my pizza. And like, and I don't know what happened. It was like fucking mirror was just shined on me, and I was like, what the like? This is look at who I am. I'm the guy who, everybody else in this room, children, women, everybody's eating the pizza the way it is, and here I am, a grown man, afraid of eating olives. I was disgusted in myself. Disgusted in myself.
Hmm.
And so from that point on, I started ordering everything on. When I ordered a hamburger, I got a hamburger with everything on it. When I got a sub with everything on it. I still do that now. Everything I order, I get everything. No matter what it is, I want to eat it the way it is. Right? I want everything on it. Everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm no longer gonna be afraid of food. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna be afraid of food. Fuck that. Like, that's sick. You know what I mean? What kind of man is afraid of food? Like, and that was
Mm.
something that I was for my whole life before that. So that was the first fundamental big change I'd made in my life, and it was before really the what I knew about NLP, before like real technologies, but just by making that change and sticking to it, because I didn't like the food, but eventually I began to like the food. Now my diet is very heavy in vegetables. I don't even eat meat almost at all now. I eat fish. I eat a lot of fish though, right?
Hmm.
But I don't eat red meats. I don't eat chicken really. I barely eat chicken. I barely eat any kind of red meats. The only meat I really eat is fish. Um, and I eat a lot of vegetables. I eat every vegetable all the time, and my food always tastes great. Where, you know what I mean? And it's how I prefer my food now, is with vegetables. I prefer vegetables over, like, you couldn't, like, the way I used to eat food before, I wouldn't want to eat it today, right?
Yeah. I don't eat any vegetables really. I need to
You don't?
start that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. It's healthy. Also, with vegetables that are still alive. So like salads, like lettuce, stuff like that. That's still like alive.
Yeah.
Uh, the more the closer something is to life, the more life force energy you get from it.
Okay.
That's how you get like that energy, that fucking boom. You know, like I'm a 40-year-old man, and I've got a lot of life in me. You know what I mean? My behaviors, the way I am. I don't seem like I'm like people. Most people are like, "Holy fuck! I can't believe you're 40 years old." They think I'm like 30. Right? I easily pass for a 30-year-old. Easily can pass for a 30-year-old, and it's because I've got life force energy. The life, I've got all that. I'm consuming a lot of life force energy, right? So it's like the energy. There's just you know what I mean. There's only two things, right? There's expansion. There's only two forces in the world. There's only really two forces. There's expansion and contraction or atrophy. So you have the energy of light. Like, see, when you turn on, you can imagine a dark room. Completely pitch black. There's the absence of light. Darkness is just the absence of light. It's nothing, right? You go into a room that's completely dark. It's completely absent of light. You turn on a light switch. Light instantly fills the room and overpowers the darkness. No problem, because now something is there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But as soon as you turn off that switch, the light room goes dark again. So the light needs constant power because the light is something. So light is
Mm-hmm.
infinitely stronger. So that's why it's called. That's why light is the strong force. Have you taken high school physics at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know about the strong and the weak force, gravity, and
Yeah.
electromagnetism, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the
Yeah.
forces. Okay, the strong force is the force of expansion. So anytime something is expanding or growing, that's the strong force, right? Which is infinitely stronger than the weak force. But the weak force, which is nothingness, is like the bottle that contains the something. And so
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't need to be strong. It is what actually is. It is everything that is outside of the light is that darkness, is the weak force. And so the weak force will always win out. Atrophy, death. And that's why we die. All right? We're the
Okay.
same thing. Everything is like that. Everything is only two forces. It's, as I said, is an electrical binary signature. The only thing that could be passing through your nervous system is electricity in a sequence of electron or no electron, basically a Morse code, right? Or if you want to think of white and black, right? On the color spectrum, white is all color. Is all the colors mixed up together. Each color has a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And white is just on. It's like even sound is the same thing. There's only one sound, right? There's only one sound, and it's just pressure, right? It's the strong force. However, by different oscillations or frequencies, on and offs, you can go from to although all of the same sounds to our ear, we detect it differently
Mm-hmm.
because it's different oscillations of the same sound. And that's the same thing that occurs with light, with all colors as well. Colors do the same thing. There's only one color, only two colors, white and black. Everything in between is a gradient of the two. And it's the same code, it's the same language that's spoken through your computer. Is either electricity or no electricity. What else can be running through a circuit board?
Yeah.
How else can information be getting passed through the computer? It's connected to the wall socket. There's electricity being fed through it, but then as it processes the electricity and turns it into code and makes it in more ones and zeros, that binary electrical signature, which BIOS speaks. So your computer actually, the first program it speaks as BIOS. BIOS is how it reads the Morse code of light and no light, or electricity, electron and no electron, right? It's processing that and then goes into DOS, right? So then DOS is where you start to have uh, typing, and you start to have letters, and you start, the ones and zeros turn into something that a human being can use, right? Because the ones and zeros, well, one letter, like a letter P, would be like a whole screen full of ones and zeros,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
But once you have that code and you can process it fast enough, the letter P becomes something easy in DOS. In DOS, all those ones and zeros get turned into a letter P. Now that letter P can be turned into something else in another language. So each stage of the computer's, and the mind does the same thing. The brain is doing the same thing, right? So it is the only code it's the universal language of one and zero. The infinite dance of yin and yang, right?
Yeah.
The yin and
Yeah.
yang dance. And that's what all things are. And that's why it's important to eat vegetables. You want to be consuming life more than death, and you want
Yeah.
to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna be here for a little bit, however long you're gonna be on this earth. But you may as well be healthy, right?
Yeah. And it's good for your health, and that affects your
Yeah.
game and everything like that. So.
Well, health is always attractive, right? Like everybody, health is attractive. Being healthy is attractive. It's not the pinnacle, though. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. Like I'm not a bodybuilder, but you don't need to be a bodybuilder. You don't need to be, you don't need to be a health nut and to be like, oh yeah, health, health, health. Like a lot of these guys. Yeah, you'll get some women by just focusing on your health. You will just by being healthy, by being stronger. You'll display enough masculinity that you will attract women. But it's your health that's attracting them, not you, right? So you want to be healthy as a part of who you are, just because you want to be healthy. I don't want to be healthy to attract women. I want to be healthy for me, just to have a better life. And as a repercussion of that, I'll get, women will be more attracted to me. All right.
Mm-hmm.
This is funny here. I am like a smoker and I talk about health. When the weather warms up, I'll be going swimming every day, which all this smoking all fucking wintertime I'm gonna pay for. I know first time already. The first time I jump in the river and try to swim a kilometer, I'm gonna fucking have a hard time with it. Same as last year. First swim, you go get it. It's because I've got so much tar and shit in my lungs from smoking cigarettes all winter.
Yeah, I've got to quit. I smoke myself. I've got to quit soon.
Yeah. It's best to I'm gonna quit too. I'm getting tired of this shit. It's a weakness. Weakness is the dark force. It's the force of atrophy. It's the yang force, right? Women are weak. Women represent the more yang. So we both have masculine and feminine in us. Otherwise, we couldn't live. We couldn't be alive, right? Like all the programs that the universal consciousness, the universal processor, everything that the universal processor processes is light and dark. So we're both made of both. Men are both masculine and feminine. You know what I mean? And we're both a gradient. But she's more on the dark force side, and we're more on the light. It's your light that attracts her. The masculinity, the expansion, the growth, you know what I mean? That is what attracts women.
Okay.
In its essence, is the masculine energy is the energy of life. It's life force energy. The energy of the sun. Right? I mean, we're getting a little esoteric here, but I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, I'm an occultist, and science and the occult and seduction all kind of come down to the same thing. It's all the same. It's all the same thing. This whole universe is, well, there's something that's processing all the ones and zeros that create this reality, and I call that something God. but you can think of it as a grand processor, a grand computer processor that processes reality, right?
Hmm.
If you pixelated the entire universe, uh, made it into, took it into Planck lengths, which it is. That's what the grand processor is doing. The entire universe, in every pixel of the universe, one thing can be said about it. Either it contains the presence of something, or it does not contain the presence of something. It either contains something or it does not. That's your 1 and 0 to begin with. Then, you know what I mean? Your thing is what, in a Planck length would be like a fraction of the size of an atom or a molecule, or a fraction of the size of a particle, right? It's the smallest measurement possible, they say. But if you took it and you pixelated the entire universe into, you made it into pixels, in the size of Planck lengths, that's what the grand processor is processing. Either there's a presence of something, or there is not a presence of something in that particle. That's the ones and zeros that make up our universe, which the grand processor is processing. Thing is, you're one with that grand processor. If you want to, I like to think of it more of a grand processor, but you can get to know it because it's processing you. So you're a part of it, and you can kind of backwards connect with it that way. Right. Which if you guys are interested in that, we'll get into that. There's no time limit on this little course. I'm gonna just keep coaching you guys till you've learned as much from me as you want to learn. Right?
Yeah, cool.
You know what I mean? I'm here with you guys. I still haven't started billing you. So I'm gonna grab you guys'. I'm gonna actually send out an invoice to you guys probably today or tomorrow.
Okay, that's cool.
You guys can start paying me a little bit. I'm thinking, well, once I get a bit of money, I'm hoping I'm gonna find a place where I can rent a classroom, maybe start doing an in-person class as well, locally. Maybe turn this into something where I can maybe earn a living at it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I really want to earn a living. I like bricklaying. I like laying bricks, but I also would like to do this and teach a lot of people, have a class, and maybe build this into the potential that it has. Right? Because there ain't shit that I can't do. There's nothing in the world that you can't do either, no matter what it is. Figure out what it is. Say, okay, this is my goal set. This is what I want. It's a vision. How do I get it? Right? It's like and begin to just keep working a plan. I continue to work towards it and learn from your mistakes. Right? So there's been a lot of mistakes, like what's working, what's not working. Like right now, I'm kind of becoming almost locally a little bit famous. The internet though is completely beyond me. I get banned off everything. Like I'm banned from everywhere. There's no platform. I can't even comment on videos on BitChute anymore. Like it's gone to that point. Like there's no platform for me. But I'm still a conscious being, and my consciousness is still contagious, and it's not going to be contained. Like now there's thousands and thousands of people in my local area that have pictures of me and videos of me on their cell phones. You know what I mean? Like people can drive by me with their cameras on me all day, every day. You know what I mean? So they're all getting exposed to me. There's a lot of exposure. So it's just by being conscious, you're gonna radiate that out, and the more you're radiating, the stronger it grows. Like everything seems to be a toroid. That's why I say like the Earth, well, it can't be flat just because rivers are flowing on it. You know what I mean? Where there's no pumps on the Earth installed on the Earth, and for rivers to continuously flow for thousands and thousands of years, well, it has to be there. It has, you know what I mean? There's a continuous flow. It continues. That's because of the movement of the Earth. If the Earth wasn't spinning like a ball, it wouldn't do that. How would the water continue to move down rivers, right? Without running out, without ever running dry. It's because the movement of the Earth is causing that. So the Earth is moving. Yes, it's spinning like a ball. However, You ever look at pictures of the planets? They all have a shape at the poles. All the planets have shapes at the poles. You ever notice that? Saturn has a cube at the pole, or the sun
No, I
has
didn't know that. I didn't know that. No.
sun has a cube on it. Some of them have other shapes. Like I think one of them, I think Uranus has like a pentagon on it.
Okay.
I think Saturn has a cube. Like they've got these at their vortexes. They've got shapes. Um, and I feel that so they may appear as a ball, but they're all the toroid shapes. They're actually a toroid, a torus, right? We can see the if you ever see a picture of the the magnetic uh, magnetic field around the Earth. I mean, you can just Google it. Google images Earth's magnetic field, and you see it's a toroid, right?
Okay.
And same thing. You see with iron filings. See, our idea of magnetism is wrong too, because you know what I mean. You put iron filings on a magnet, and you see this. You see the shapes around the poles of it, which actually is even a toroid in itself, in a way, right? And that's actually what's happening even with a magnet that you pick up. It's a toroid. The energy's going in, being built up, and coming out like a fountain, back around and showering back in, right? And that's how anything grows. The more energy you put in, the more comes out. The more energy. So you can think of like everything you do towards a goal as being putting energy into the toroid. You understand? You're putting energy into the toroid. So right now you want to put energy into your own toroid, into building yourself. The more energy and more effort you put into building yourself as who you are, the more of the law of karma as well. The more you're going to see the results of that. And then the more you push more energy in, the more results you're going to get. The more energy you push in, right? It continues. It's all circular. It's all a feedback loop. The whole world.
Because karma means work, doesn't it? That's the translation of karma is work.
Is work karma?
That's what they say. That's one of the translations for karma, work. Yes.
It's more like results from work, but also it's results. It's more like Jesus said, reap and sow. So you reap what you sow, basically. You know, and you put your seed in the ground and you water it and you give it the attention it needs and you grow a plant and you get a whole bunch more seeds and food to go along with it. And next year you got even more plants. You put those into the ground and you got even more food. You know what I mean? It's like a toroid. Put more in, get more out. Put more in, get more out. Same thing goes though as every negative emotion, every time you lie to somebody, every time you fuck someone over, you get that right back, man. You get it right back every single time. You create your own reality. We really do. We create our own reality. So one way of actually, when I was living in a homeless shelter, which I'm really grateful for. At one point, I was living in a homeless shelter, and I only lived there for 2 weeks. Although when I moved in, I had no idea how long I'd be there because I didn't have any way of making any money or anything. And I started giving loonies and toonies to bums, and I started to give smokes to bums, and I started to give people a lot of shit. All of a sudden, everything came together, man. I had everything. I had it more than I even wanted. All right, kept giving, kept getting. Same thing. It's the same thing. The more you may give something to one person, don't get stuck on it if they don't give it back or they don't pay you back or they don't do anything back. You get it back in another way. It comes back. Always. And you get it back even better. You always will. Your life will. So when somebody rips you off, you just like, feel bad for them. Somebody fucks you over in some way, feel bad for them. Because they're the ones who have to suffer the karma of that. You're gonna get your reward somewhere else. And more of a reward. Just have faith that it's coming. Just know the law. Just know that karma is going to be corrected. You know what I mean?
Kind of links to my situation a few weeks ago with that guy that messed me around.
Yeah, it does. You got to let it go. But also don't allow negativity. Don't allow atrophy in your life. Don't allow the negative force in your life as much as possible. So people that are there and they're taking advantage of you and they're sucking off you, they're vampires. They're energy vampires. So what they do is they'll steal your. Just don't have people in your life that aren't benefiting you at all.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have people that are taking from you and not giving you value, that are not bringing something to the table, that are not, you know what I mean? If you got a friend that you're constantly doing favors for and you call them up and they're not doing anything back for you, it's just like, okay, time to let you go, man, because you're siphoning off my energy that I could be using somewhere else, right? So energetic vampires, you should, keep an eye out in your life for them. They're people who don't uplift you in any way and don't bring anything really to you. And you're hanging out with them basically just because you don't have anybody else to hang out with, type of thing. Get rid of those people. Get rid of them. If they're not on your team, don't have them. Don't be on somebody's team who's not on yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like fucking, I had that. That was a big one for me too. Like I got bullied all through school when I was a kid. Like it was bad, and I just wanted to hang out with the older guys. So because the kids my own age were all beating me up, so I wanted to hang out with the older guys, and all they did was bully and abuse me. But I got to be seen with them and
Mm-hmm.
got to feel like I was somewhat kind of cool, kind of, or whatever. Meanwhile, I was just more and more of a victim, and yeah, it was bad. It was bad, man. I remember all that. I did all that shit too. Too worried about other people. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about other people.
Mm-hmm.
Other people, well, most people don't, like, fuck. They only pay attention to what's around. They don't pay attention to shit, actually, but they'll feel about you the way everybody else seems to feel about you. And when you walk in, like, say, you can walk into the local, coffee shop, McDonald's, whatever. And you're standing in line and you're just like, I'm cool. Moving around, just kind of doing your own thing. Everybody's going to assume you're cool. People just assume it, man. They're just like, you're just cool with you, and you're just like, I don't give a fuck about you. You're actively demonstrating that I don't give a shit what you think. The minute you do that, it's like people start going, oh, what's with that guy? Why is he so free? Why is he so? Because everybody else is held in, worried about what everybody else is thinking. Everybody else is going through all that bullshit, that anxiety, all the shit that you go through when you get into a public setting. Everybody else is going through that too.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you free yourself of it, everybody else sees that you're free of it. Then they start wanting what you have. Understand?
Yeah.
They start going, oh, how can I feel like that? And other people who have that, because there are the people who are leading our whole civilization, the winners in life, the real winners in life, they're all feeling that way about themselves. So they automatically feel like you're one of them. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
They start feeling like you're one of them. And all of a sudden, they start things come your way. Right? So, I mean, that's where the more free of that shit you can be, but it's just like crabs in a bucket. In the very beginning, when you first start freeing yourself from it, everybody's going to be trying to claw you back.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's fucking hard, man. It's hard. I had to straighten out my mother. I still remember straightening out my mom. It was a vivid memory where I finally had to tell my mom, I don't let people talk to me like that anymore. Right? And we're not gonna talk if you're talking to me like that. But to her, from her perspective, I was just Roddy. I was her son. I'm the kid she's known her whole life. She raised me. And she raised me as a person that she could talk to down at. And it fucking, even in my 30s, she could talk to me like I was an idiot. And that's who I was my entire life. And so when I go like that, when I go, hey, no, I don't let people talk to me like that no more. I explained it. Hey, I can't I don't want to be that person anymore. I'm not that person anymore. And you're gonna feel cognitive dissonance that I'm a different person today. They will. They're gonna feel cognitive dissonance, and they're gonna get mad at you because you don't match their image that they have of you anymore. Let them know that that's what's happening. Find a good way of explaining it to them. You've got an image built. You can never know another human being. All you can ever know is the image that you have built of them in your mind. And when a person doesn't match that image, we feel cognitive dissonance, and we tend to get angry at that person for not matching that image. Well, I'm not that person anymore that I used to be, and so I don't allow people to talk to me like that anymore. You know what I mean? Explain it to them, be as gentle as you need to be or whatever, but get it done so that they understand. And then you may have to continue to remind them. But they're going to keep getting angry at you anyway because it's a subconscious process. So you're going to get people angry at you. Old friends, stuff like that. I lost all my old friends. Every single one. I don't have any of them anymore. Because I'm not the same guy anymore, man. You can't talk to me like I'm a moron anymore. You can't abuse me anymore. I'm going to tell you to fuck off. So what happens? I don't match those people's. I'm not the same guy that they knew at all anymore. I'm not the same person. But they know me. I've known you forever. They know me. So when I show them and I'm not the same guy anymore, they start feeling cognitive dissonance. And they start getting angry at you. So you're going to lose a lot of people that way. My parents, they're cool with the new me now. It's taken a while for them to adjust and get to know me again. And a lot of people are still cool with me and who I am today. But a lot of people weren't for a long time. Sometimes it takes a break. I don't have, with not seeing somebody for a while or whatever. But always be gentle with people and understand where they're coming from. Understand that they have an image that they've built of you in their mind. And the minute you start trying to change that image, you start changing who you are, you're changing that image. And now you're going to cause them a conflict in their mind, which they're not going to analyze. You're analyzing, you're doing the thinking. This is what I mean. You're basically becoming more of a god on earth. Because you're thinking at a higher level than other people. Other people are not processing what's going on in their unconscious mind. They're unaware that the reason that they're angry at you is that you're not matching an image that they have constructed in their mind of you, and that it's cognitive dissonance that they're feeling. You can be aware of that. You can explain it to them, but don't expect them to really get it. But at the same time, you can explain to them their own processes and tell them why things are, but also you have to be, it's your decision. You are the boss of you. Nobody else can tell you shit ever. Even if you're willing to walk away from a job, your boss cannot tell you to be on time every day. If I'd rather be late than have a job, you can't tell me to be on time every day. But if I fear losing my job more than I want to be late, well, I'm going to be on time every day. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not. That's, what I mean? It's not like, oh, you want to be late. You don't want to be late for work. Right? You want to be. So you also want to have principles. What kind of a person do you want to be? Me, I'm a person who's on time every day, if not early. Right? I work for myself. Why? Because it fits with who I am. I like working for myself, right? I like being my boss. It's where I'm at. But anything that's not agreeable to me, if I'm not agreeable to something, if I am agreeable to something, I stick to my side of the agreement, and I hold it down. I fulfill my end of every obligation. So if I get a job with you, and part of that job is to be on time every day, I'm going to be on time every day. Because it's part of my principles. It's how I see myself. It's who I want to be. It's a principle. I fulfill my obligation. See what I mean? It's like an affirmation. I fulfill all my obligations. If I make an agreement with you, I stick to it. Not because of you or how you're going to feel about it. Because of me and how I feel about it. Because this is the walk I'm walking. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's a principle. So you build these principles and say, this is who I am, and I don't bend on it. And anytime reality tests you, you have to, you know what I mean? Anytime reality tends to test you, which it will, reality is going to test you. And but you stand on it and you get that reinforcement, right? That feedback loop. So anytime that you go, okay, I stand on my principles, and then you hold a principle, and you're like, okay, when you're on time for work, you say, okay, I made this obligation. You say it in your mind. I made the obligation to be there on time. So I used to remind myself constantly, okay, I agreed to this. I'm a person who holds my agreements. That's why I'm going to make it. That's why I'm going to get this done, because I said I would. And I do everything I can because I said I can. So anytime I obligate myself to anything, I fully put myself 100% into it. I say, okay, I said it, so I'm doing it. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to make that happen. If I don't, at least I did my best. But I'm walking the walk of the walk I said I would walk. You know what I mean?
Mm.
My feet are in those footsteps of what I said I was gonna do. Sometimes I can't meet my obligation. I said I could do something, I can't. But at least if I did everything in my power to do so, I'm still upholding my principle, right? Because I
Okay.
cannot control the outside circumstances. I can only control me. But as long as I'm doing my part, and I do 100% my part, well then I don't have to then I don't have to worry about anybody else doing, you know what I mean, anything else, because I've held to my principles, right?
Okay.
Principles are important. We're gonna get into principles later and establishing principles. It's an important thing. Frame control and state control is probably more important, right?
Okay.
Although I feel that this today's class has gone very well. I think we've got some good information. I don't
Yeah.
know, how do you feel today?
Yeah. I feel a lot better myself actually just by listening to it. But I've got lots of ideas, and I know now. I mean, you talked about state control, but I didn't realise how important it was.
You didn't get it. You thought running around fucking harassing girls in the street was going to get you somewhere,
Mhm.
right? But not realizing that you can do that. You can walk up and harass a girl, but it's your state that's going to determine whether or not you're successful. It's how you feel. What does she feel? What it is what does she feel? But how you enhance, how you change, your only power with, you know, changing how she feels is your state and how you feel. In a minute, see me, it's just like laughter yoga. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Walk up to a girl and just do that sometime. You know what I mean? You'll have a conversation, and it'll light right up
Hmm.
because she's feeling good emotions just looking at you, laughing at her. You know how many girls I've just fucking looked at and laughed at, and then all of a sudden I'm in great conversations. It's a great opener. Or sometimes not even doing that. You can just look at her, just ooh, like just a subtle indicator, and just have a good feeling going on. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, and you're feeling good. Well, sometimes I'll use arousal. I'll just look at a girl and I'll just be like, and I'll start like flexing my dick inside my pants, and I'll start generating sexual energy around my crotch, and I visualize it, and I allow myself, and I just bring myself into more of an aroused state. And as I'm looking at her and I'm feeling arousal, she's feeling it, man. They feel it, man. I get them fucking squirming. They'll sit in front of me. They'll be squirming like this. Oh my god, you wouldn't believe the power of that. But it's all in your internal state. And it's the same thing as when you, like, your body language absolutely is important. The thing is, though, is that your body language will only be so correct. It If it doesn't match your state, there's going to be incongruities there, and unconsciously people are going to read them. Now, the more you're doing right, the more people you're going to convince, right? But when your state matches your body language, that's when everybody's convinced. Because that's how you become. You actually become that person. Like I'm an alpha male now. I was not an alpha male when I started this at all. I was not a leader in any sense of the word. There was nothing alpha about me. But by maintaining that state and having that positive reinforcement, my unconscious processes have written me as an alpha male, and I've literally become a different person in the same body. In the same body. Right?
You rewired your brain completely, right?
Completely. It's the positive feedback that's done it, really. The positive feedback. It's when I'm acting it in the world, I'm feeling it. Then I'm you know what I mean? I'm interacting with people and they're responding to me as such. My unconscious mind is seeing that, and I begin to see myself more as that. And so my behaviors match it even more. And then people respond to me even more. And then I have more reinforcement, which makes me believe it even more. And then I act out even more. People respond to me even more. You know what I mean? It just continues. It's a positive feedback loop that just continues to spiral up until you become it. And you will become it. You know what I mean? You just got to hold to it. It's just like what you've got to determine your own principles. Who the fuck am I? What kind of a man am I? What's important to me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's important to me, and hold to it. Right? Well, it's another thing. I don't lie to anybody. It's completely ineffective. The minute somebody catches you lying to them, they don't trust you as much. You don't have nearly the ability to influence them. Your ability to influence them goes almost to zero, and it'll never be back where it was before the lie. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. Doesn't matter how much they love you and how much they forgive you. Does not matter. You will never have that same ability to influence them ever again. That's why I don't lie to anybody. Ever.
I did that with that girl. I was meant to meet her on the Saturday, but she didn't. She flaked on me. But I told her the truth about all my mental health issues and everything. And
Okay. Don't display weakness to a woman. Here's another thing. Your mental health issues, you're choosing them.
mm-hmm.
You're choosing them. Bro, I had I was diagnosed as bipolar, and I had they had me on Zoloft for a bit, which I quit because I was it made me feel like a zombie, and I was not able to continue. You know what I mean? I felt like a zombie, and it was bad. It was really bad, and I said, okay, you know what? I can't do mental health drugs. So what I did instead was spend a lot of time in jail and getting into a lot of trouble and doing a lot of damage to my life, a lot of damage to myself. But I knew that I could handle, I could fucking fix it, man. I could fix it.
Mm-hmm.
I was at one point I was an alcoholic and I was a crackhead, man. I was a crack smoker. I was a fucking drug addict, man.
Mm-hmm.
And still, like, oh my god, I was suicidal. Oh my god, life was so bad, and I chose every bit of it. I was choosing every bit of it by perceiving the world that way and perceiving myself that way. Today I have no mental health issues. It's still the same brain. I'm in no need of SSRI drugs or MMR or MRIs at all. At all. Now, but they say, oh, there's chemical imbalances. Well, if it's a chemical imbalance that I have no power over, I can perceive the world that way. and I could take my pills and I could be that man. Or I could perceive the world as truth, as it's all processes. My brain is simply just hardware, which has ineffective programming. It's running programs that are not effective, that are not getting me what I want. Learn to fix those programs. See what I mean? The minute you know what I mean, if you change your state, like the minute you start feeling, I don't know, man, I don't feel depressed. I feel like a winner all the time, but I'm always
Yeah,
I'm
one
productive.
second, dude. Yeah, I'll take it. Just leave it on the landing, will you? Okay. It's just.
I got you, man. We're getting late anyways. It's like 12:30 where you're at now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're really late. All right, but yeah, keep doing the laughter yoga. Keep working on a state control. Remind yourself a lot that you don't have that your mental health issues are a choice. Anytime you're feeling them, break your state, go into something else. Continue to get into that habit. It's going to be a lot of work. It took me years, man. But I couldn't live as the person I was anymore. I was desperate, man. That's how I got rid of it. That's how I fixed my mental health issues, my drug addiction, my alcoholism. Buddy, man, I was a shitbag, man. If you would have known who I was, if you would have saw who I was before, you'd see. Yeah, and you met me today, you would see what I'm talking about. You'd look at yourself and you'd say, "Fuck! If he did it from where he was at, I can do it from where I'm at."
Mm-hmm.
Right, bro? I was, I got a grade 8 education. I didn't even really do school much. I was a mess, bro. But what did I do? I hung on to Ross Jeffries, and then I got on to Mark Cunningham, and I kept reading about the mind and hypnosis, reinforced the beliefs, and I realized that once I'd changed a few people's, I'd changed people's mental illnesses like PTSD, and I'd fix it like this. Other people's anxiety, everything else, just fix it. And I was fixing these issues with people. At that point, that it's not legit, man. This whole medical model of the mind, and this fucking pharmaceutical model of the mind, it's not true. It's not true. Your brain is just like a computer. My computer had viruses and ineffective programs that was running, automatic processes that it was running that were not what I wanted. You have to stop those processes and replace them with something else. Right?
Okay.
It's hard. It's not easy. Because your mind is doing what it always does. It's automatically processing whatever information. Just like my computer screen right now is displaying the same wallpaper I keep on there all the time. And it just continues to do that. It's running all the processes that it runs. If there's a virus, if it gets a virus from somewhere, it's going to continue to run that virus until I do something to stop it and change it. Right? You can think of mental health issues as viruses, mind viruses. That's what they are. That's what they are. They're ineffective programs that you have to change. You have to get them. You have to root them out, and you have to recognize them when you go into that process. You have to realize, oh, I'm in this process. Change it immediately. It's why health is going to be a good thing too. Health, it's hard to be happy and emotionally well if you're not physically well. And you can't be physically well if you don't have nutrients in your system, right? So start drinking more water, eating some vegetables, get healthy. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to be a fucking weightlifter. You don't have to be Mr. Kung Fu. But you should be eating fucking vegetables. You should be getting nutrients in your body. Your body should have what it needs. Because a lot of mental health issues is also dietary.
Yeah.
And realize too, though, just because something looks like food doesn't mean it is. Right? Like you ever look at I did a live stream on my Instagram like probably a year ago, where I went through the grocery store and I picked up a package of lasagna and read the ingredients off to my audience, and there was nothing in it that was like food. It looked like food. The picture on the box of the lasagna looked like lasagna, but the ingredients on it did not read anything like my mom's ingredients would read.
Yeah.
At all. There was almost no food in it. It's simulated food. It looks like food, tastes like food, kind of, not really, but kind of tastes like food, and we're addicted to it. But it doesn't have any nutrients. There's no nutritional value to it. Unfortunately, and that took me a while because now I'm a good cook, man. I cook fucking great,
Mm-hmm.
but it took me a while because you got to kind of learn how to cook if you're gonna eat real food. Anything pre-cooked or pre-made for you is not real food, man. It's simulated food made of like I don't even know what the hell they make it out of. Like uh, what's that? Fucking it's made of like oil, whatever. What do they call?
What craft slices and things like that, craft cheese. That
Yeah,
kind of
it's made of
thing.
like it's made of oil.
Oh,
It's made of whatever they call like petroleum. They're all
okay.
petroleum-based products. Yeah, they are, man. It's petroleum-based products, man. I mean, you're eating a plastic lasagna out of the freezer. You know what I mean? It's gross. But the only way to avoid it is to learn how to cook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only real way.
I'm gonna get some vegetables tomorrow. Then that's my homework.
Some fruit and
Yeah.
vegetables. Yeah, fruit's good. Fruits is probably even higher than vegetables, but yeah, fruit and vegetables both. Eat food. Eat real food, man. Fruit, vegetables, and it's actually cheaper to eat that way. A lot cheaper to eat that way.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It's a lot cheaper to buy your own food, to buy real food and just cook it.
Cool, man.
All right.
Right. Nice talk. Thank you, man.
Ah, you're
Appreciate it.
welcome, man. I hope you got something out of it.
Yeah, definitely did. Thanks.
You know, all
I'll,
these are all these little lessons that we're doing. The ones that I record, they pop up in the group chat. You can just download them and watch them again later.
okay.
You know what I mean? Download all of them. Put them on your computer. If the ones that you find valuable, that you think are good lessons, I think all of them are valuable and good lessons. So you just download all the ones that are there, and all the ones that I continue to do, and rewatch them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Rewatch them. Have you? If you want, like, you know what I mean. Ones that you think are particularly like, okay, what skills are here, or you want more information on, rewatch it, learn, and then ask questions. You know what I mean? This is back and forth, man. I'm your teacher, and I'm here to help you. You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
let me know where you're at, but you know what I mean. Be working the material. Be working the material. Be working what I'm giving you, and as you're working it, any kind of stumbling blocks, any kind of issues that you're having, anything that's not quite, you know what I mean, you don't quite get, talk to me about it and we'll address it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah, you seem like you're doing really great. I know that I'm the only my issue is that I'm worried that I'm going faster than what you're able to adapt into your life, right? So I'm
Yeah.
worried. I'm not worried, but I'm trying to be mindful of that. You know what I mean? To keep where you guys are able, you know what I mean, to still get the value.
It's good. It's good to repeat things, but I'm getting most of it. I think it's good to have the repetition there.
Oh, we're not even just repetition because we've expanded. We expand every
Yeah.
time. We're always going. We kind of like every lesson we're re-hitting the essentials, which is state control, and then expanding on state control further, right? But we are going to get into like hypnosis. We are going to get into mind control. We are going to get into influencing others. Uh, you know what I mean? We are going to get into all that stuff. It's just, you know what I mean? Right now, you need the building blocks. There's just no way. You can't, the way you are, you know what I mean? The way you are, if you're feeling anxiety when you walk up to a woman, you're going to be all anxious up to a You're not going to walk up to a woman and be like, wow, or hi, you know. I was just thinking. You're not going to be like, hi. You know, sometimes when you're standing somewhere and you see somebody and you just feel this intense desire to just kind of want to know who this person is. You know what I mean? Has that ever happened to you? You just like you see somebody and it's like this person is in front of you and it's just like, who is that person? And as your mind becomes more curious, you begin to learn more about this person. I mean, you can't do that right now because you don't have the state. You're going to be standing there in front of somebody. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen because you don't have the state. You don't have the foundation. The thing is, the only reason why I can make that fly is because I've got a good emotional state. I believe that I'm interesting. I know that I'm interesting. I can walk, you know what I mean? So when I do that, it's just like I can grab somebody because everything, all my foundational stuff is right where it should be. Then I come up with some amazing language. I can take you into wherever you want to go mentally, into other worlds, right? But you have to have your basic tools first. Just like if you read, actually over the weekend, read it's only 200 pages. Read that Reality is Plastic.
Okay.
You'll understand something about hypnosis that nobody else is going to teach you. And that it all happens in the other person's mind. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It all happens within the other person's mind. If they believe that you're a person who can hypnotize them, you can. You
Okay.
can. If they don't think you can do it, nothing in the world, no matter how good you are, is going to let them do it. They won't let you do it. You see what I mean? It all happens in their mind. Really, when I hypnotize somebody in clinical hypnosis session, if it's all their belief that I can hypnotize them that allows it to happen. If they don't think I can, there's no way I'm gonna fucking switch your PTSD off like that, or there's no way I'm gonna get you to quit smoking. Just no way, because you don't believe it. If you believe it and you expect something to happen, your mind will create it yourself. Did you read that article I wrote on with the text hypnosis?
I didn't see it. Oh no. Yeah.
In the
I
article,
wrote it
so I
down.
asked you
I
stuff.
wrote it down, but I didn't. I will. I will. I'll check that out.
Check that out because
Yeah.
it's a little bit kind of tying into this too. The idea of expectation. When somebody expects something to happen, it will. Uh-huh. It will.
Okay.
But you
Okay.
begin this is kind of like, well, this reading stuff is kind of a preview to where we're going soon, kind of like the next stage of where we're going to put this. Like once you've got yourself handled, I want to get into now. I want to talk. Then I'm going to begin to talk about perception, managing perceptions, which we are touching on with body language and with your state and how your state manages it changes the perception of others around you, right? But we're going to get much deeper into perception, into how to manipulate the perceptions of people, right?
Okay.
And expectation, how to create an image of yourself in another person's mind. Because no matter who you think I am, you're going to treat me the way you think I am, right? As the person you think I am, as the image that you have of me in your mind, you're going to treat me as if I'm that person. So, the ultimate form of persuasion is to manipulate that image. See? All right,
Okay.
brother. Good. Good night, man.
Nice one. Take care. See you.
See ya.